Welcome to the show, Filippo Voltaggio, author, speaker, and certified life coach, workshop creator, radio host, known for your diverse talents across entertainment, business, and personal development. You have a background in TV, film, and live performance, and corporate leadership, including working with Fortune Top 3 company. You've been nominated and won numerous awards, including a vocal competition, Presidential Call to Service Award, and a Lifetime Achievement Award. There is a ton of stuff to talk about with you, Filippo. Thank you so much for joining us on the show, and please do tell us more.
Tell you more. First of all, I'm happy to be here with both of you, with Tom, you, and Skyler. And we had the pleasure of having Skyler on our show, the Life Changes show, and had such a great time. And I talked about so many great things, talked about how music affects the world and each other and ourselves. And so that inspired me to potentially bring to this conversation how pretty much everything we do affects the world and each other and ourselves. And so in a sense, if it's good music, if it's inspiring music, if it's music that can move for the better, whether we're working or whether we're coaching or whether we're leading a workshop or whatever it is, or if we're talking to the teller at the bank, for anybody that still goes up to the teller at the bank, that thinking of it potentially as music. So I listened to everything that you said about me, and thank you for sharing that. And I thought, what is the common thread? The common thread is all vibration. And what I'm doing more now is aspiring to all of those vibrations being as high as possible and as loving and caring as possible, though they certainly aren't always from my human perspective. And that wasn't the intention before, but it is now, which brings us together here, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
That's exactly right, brother. You know, what do you think about the frequencies of bringing people in from all walks of life to collaborate with each other?
I love it. Well, in what respect are we talking about? Positive collaboration?
Well, that's what we do here at Music for Global Change. We're trying to get people to write positive lyrical content, but collaborate around the world, with that.
Absolutely. I have sung all my life, and I focused on what was called lifestyle music or concerts, in that I would do songs that I grew up with. Even though I grew up in America, I was raised by Italian immigrant parents. And so the music that was so inside of me that needed to come out, or that I wanted to share, was Italian or Italian American related music. So I'm sharing this because along with that, I liked to tell stories about growing up Italian American. And since so many of, when I started first singing professionally, so many of the events were Italian or Italian American related. So I got used to telling stories of growing up Italian or growing up with Italian words and people not understanding and this and that. And then as the audiences got bigger and as they got more varied, and as people from different parts of the world were gathered, and I was at a particular event or festival, and people started coming up and saying something to me that at the time I did not understand. People from different parts of the world saying, with their heavy accents or with their broken English, I had the same experience that you did. It at first took me back. I did not understand that because I was so focused on my experiences, specifically Italian American. No, it wasn't. My experience was specifically human and cultural. Yeah. And the stories were international, worldly, and humanly. And so when that opened up, it blew my mind. I'm thinking I'm telling an Italian-American story. No, I'm not. I'm telling a human experience story. And then it started getting more exciting. And actually, technically, that's around the time the Life Changes show started. So I'm all for collaboration because I think we're all having a human experience. That's what I think.
Yeah. Wow. What is a life-changing experience?
Life. And that's the thing, is that we tend to, as I've witnessed, we tend to have gone through life, except for maybe the past 4 or 5 years, but have gone through life kind of thinking things are going to stay the same. We're going to live forever. Or if we're not going to live forever, we'll probably live until we're 70 or 80, and we'll probably be at this job, and then we find ourselves without this job, or without this family, or without this person that we're dating or living with, or whatever, without or dead, God forbid. Well, at some point, but so it shouldn't be a surprise to us. And so if we keep in mind that there's an old proverb that says, this too shall pass, whether it's good or it's bad, this too shall pass. So if we're enjoying it, enjoy it as much as you can, because it will pass. And if you're not enjoying it, if it's not good, then do what you can to change it or make it better, or at least find some appreciation or a learning from it, and it will pass too. And that's the good news and the bad news.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. Tom?
I just want to talk a little bit about the Life Changes show. You mentioned there that you run. What was this kind of thought process behind starting that up? Obviously, it's been a sort of mainstay of what you've been doing. You've inspired thousands of people through what you do through it. What was the kind of ethos, I suppose, behind starting that up? And also, how do you find your guests? Obviously, as you mentioned, you've had Skyler on the show, obviously, but how do you generally find the guests for the show, or do they find you? How does that happen?
Both. So I don't know that I've ever shared publicly this story, so I'm glad you asked the question. I was doing another show, and an agent had set us up for this other show to meet with a network and talk about that show. And as the hours before we were going to meet with this network and present our show, my partner in that show told me on the phone that he wasn't coming to the meeting. He didn't want to be represented by that particular agent. And this was abrupt to me. This was new to me. And I hung up the phone and I thought, life changes. So in that moment, I had an opportunity to say, this is horrible, and I'm just going to, go to bed and pull the
Crumble, yeah.
Pull the blankets over my eyes. Or I could pull up my pants, so to speak, my big boy pants, and take a shower, which I did, and I got all dressed up, and I took the meeting. Yeah. And I even told my business partner at the time, I said, I'm taking the meeting. And he said, well, you're not representing our show. I said, fine, then I'll represent another show. He said, what is it? I said, I don't know, but life changes. So I get there. Yeah. And they sit down and they said, okay, so tell us about your XYZ show. And I said, well, technically, it's a different show, because this kind of thing happens all the time. And this is what we need to be talking about.
And guests-wise, how do you find your guests? Is that something that, as I say, you had Skyler on, as you mentioned, so how do you tend to find the guests?
So happily at this point, there are many publicists that we work with, and many people who have either been on the show prior, and so we get referrals, and it's almost exclusively referrals. However, at the beginning, it was things we were interested in, things we were noticing out in the world, and things we wanted to learn about, because my gosh, 844 episodes later, once a week, every week, without missing one, all these years, what is it, 13, wow. 14 years or so. because our producers, Mark Lejeune and Dorothy Lee Donahue, and I are interested and in all these subjects, and we need to know. And as much as we can get this information out, right, Skyler? We need to know.
That's
like
right,
we
right.
needed to know what you were doing.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's so cool because I know what I'm doing is totally different, right? Even though
Yeah.
it's music, I'm going after social consciousness, but in a positive way, because we can talk about all kind of social conscious ideas, but I want people to talk about the good things, because we don't talk enough about that. Life ain't all bad, right? And so we need to talk about what's good about life, and then that starts a whole nother conversation.
Here. And I should say, for Skyler, we were introduced to him by Umi McGluckin, right? So that was it, or was it Ilana Lorraine?
Alana.
Ilana Lorraine,
Yeah.
right. So one of those two lovely ladies in England, right, Ilana. And so with you, as we were talking on the show, and I wish this could have come out more also, is no one can do what you are doing like you are doing it now, like you can.
Right.
Because of all the experience that you've had and all the people you've touched and all the people that have touched you, good and bad, right? And all the learning you've had, like you got all that and you're using it, you're bringing it together. So thank
Yeah.
you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for noticing, because it is a lot of fun when Tom and I talk to people about what's your feelings about positive music. And like we always ask this question. I'm gonna ask you, like, who are some of your favorite social conscious music artists?
Interestingly enough, I could mention several artists and they would have all been Italian. So growing up, there was Italian music being pumped in the house, and we didn't listen to a lot of American music. It just was how we were raised. So I came to music in the American genre more so as a very young adult, and as one who was looking for things that I wanted to sing. Like after I had developed the Italian show and doing the Italian songs, I thought, I want to expand. What are the American songs that I could sing that are either in the same vein or the same era? So that's when I discovered people like Dan Fogelberg, and songs that I could sing and songs that had meaning to me. Leader of the Band, Part of the Plan, Jim Croce, and I Got a Name.
Yeah.
I mean, Alan Parsons' project, the Traveler, or Days Are Numbers. Oh my gosh, the Moody Blues with Isn't Life Strange, right? So, and I would tune into that, and so A, they'd be songs I could sing, but B, they would be, or maybe even more importantly, they would be songs I want to sing because they're speaking of my experience, they're speaking of our experience, and they touched me. I knew they would touch people and support people along their path. Like, I forget who wrote this newer song than those, but Don't Laugh at Me, which is about bullying. I want to say it was Tom Ellis, or I think is a country artist, but I only sang that song once because I was moved.
Yeah.
I practiced it, and I would cry and cry and cry. And then I'm like, can't do this shit. I can't do it. And then I just said, I'm going to do it. Well, the whole audience cried. I cried. I'm like, I don't want to do it that way. I gotta get on top of this. So, but these songs move me.
Yeah.
Yeah, lyrics are amazing, and you can have any kind of instrumentation. When you put lyrics on top of it, it goes to a whole nother thing, right?
And the human voice.
And that's what I'm saying. Well, that was the first instrument, the human voice,
Right.
right? And then they created all these other instruments to complement it. You know what I mean?
Nice.
So it's a lot of fun if you use it in a certain way. And we find people like they'll go, I know they've written a lot of love songs in their life, when I asked them how many social conscious songs have you written, they go, uh, uh, I've written a couple. I've written a couple, and I know why they only said a couple because there's no industry for it, and that's what we're creating here. You know what I mean? We need a platform for it. We need television. We need radio. We need concerts where people can go out and feed each other beautiful lyrical content that's going to move each other. And when you leave there, you go, you know what? That was a great experience. I didn't hear love this. Yeah, I didn't hear none of that. My baby hurt me, or I killed somebody. You didn't hear none of that, and you still had a great time. You know what I mean? So it's wonderful. Tom?
I do know what you mean.
I just want to ask, maybe for the life changes, but also your music, how can people go about finding that? Are you on YouTube or any kind of particular places where people can go off and see and hear these things?
Yes, Life Changes Show. LifeChangesShow.com is our website, and we are on YouTube, but we are currently an audio show, and so we are on iHeartRadio and all the networks like that, iTunes, etc. So that's the easiest place.
Yeah, and then
spelled just like it sounds.
Okay, and other than that, I mean, have you got any kind of social media presence, or would you?
Oh, absolutely. So Filippo, Filippo, and Voltaggio, Voltaggio. I am on a lot of the social apps, and Life Changes is on the apps, and the workshops you mentioned are on the apps, but they can all be reached through the other websites and all of that.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for asking. And I should mention the book, which is very life changes and actually includes music for change in the story, which is The Little Dog That Could. And I just made this connection here, Skyler, about how the human voice and the vibrations, and it's about healing, it's about emotions, and how the dog and I communicated, because it's a true story, and how I actually used music at one point in support of raising the dog's vibration. So I don't want to give it away, and this show's not about that, but I had to mention that.
Absolutely. Brilliant.
Right on. Listen, brother, thank you for the privilege of your time today.
So much.
And yours. This has been a long time coming, I know.
Yeah, no. I
more.
want to reciprocate. You guys did me beautiful, and I wanted you to get on here and talk about your personal life and stuff like that, what's going on in it. Brother, thank you so much, brother.
Thank you.
Blessings and namaste. Okay?
Namaste and blessings right back.
Namaste.
Thank you so much, Skyler Jett and Tom Bryant. Thank you. What a pleasure.
Music can save the world. Music can save the world. If we all get together, music can save the world. Yeah. Music can save the world. Music can save the world. If we all come together, music can save the world. There's an urgency facing our humanity.
Thank you so much for watching. To stay up to date, please click subscribe and hit the bell. You can also join our group on Facebook and find us on LinkedIn and Instagram.